When GE called me up and asked me to start this project, the 1 year, 3 people, $120,000 all-in purchase order. So if you do the math, 3 people, $120,000 counting benefits and everything else, no one's making any money at it. But the critical question that was asked of me was, do you have your own company, or should we do this under a Deco or Manpower, something like that? And I lied and said, oh, I have my own company. And it wasn't really a lie, it's kind of a lie, but I stopped at Mayville on the way back at the county seat, and by the time I got home, I did have a company. And I loved the logo we had. I'd seen the BMW logo, I like that. But I like the idea of the air and the water and the trucking and kind of showing all the modes of transportation. And I always thought that logistics, and at the time, right now everybody says logistics in their name. And my joke is that, back then it was Joe's Trucking, and Joe's Trucking saw companies like us, and they changed their name to Joe's Logistics, and they could charge $100 more a truck. But logistics is in our DNA. We were formed as a management company to manage the inbound transportation for GE Transportation. So that's our DNA is logistics. And my thought was always the plus is the extra that you do. Because a lot of times in the world of logistics, things happen. I say shit happen, but things happen. And you can't control that. You can't control a storm. You can't control red lights. You can't control dock hours that open and close at certain times. You can't control port congestion. You can't control general strikes in France. I mean, there's things out of your control, yet you are responsible for the results. So it's a tough job because you have to be responsible for things you can't control, which is a tough thing in life to do. In my thinking, it's very easy to tell the customer, sorry, but this isn't going to deliver because. And it may be very legitimate, but that's what everyone does. And my idea is, a lot of times, not all the time, but most times, there's a way to find a yes, to find an answer. It takes a lot of extra work, a lot of extra hours, a lot of resourcefulness and hard-headedness, but if you do that, you distinguish yourselves from everyone else that says, I'm sorry, but they close at 4 o'clock. We're not going to be there till 5, not our fault. Okay, well, maybe you call a guy and say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you stay up until 5? I know they're really looking for this thing. He may say no, but a lot of times you treat people nice, they'll say yes, So kind of the plus to me, talks to all the things that you can do above and beyond the normal job description. And one of the examples I use of that was when we first started at GE was inbound transportation. We were trying to save them. So our mission from GE was save us money on inbound transportation. And I recognized pretty early on they had every day there was a truck, a Roberts Express expedited truck coming with 2 pallets every Friday, coming from Pittsburgh to Erie for early morning delivery Friday morning. And they were charging $500. And I could have called the trucking company and said, look, you're getting this every Friday, I could shop it around, but if you go to $400, I'll let you have it and no questions asked. And I could have come back to GE and said, hey, I saved you 20% savings every week, on this move, and been somewhat of a hero. But that's the normal way to do it. In my mind, and I'm kind of hard-headed, the plus is doing more than that. So I did what was not in my scope, not on my mission. I called up the vendor down in Pittsburgh. I don't have any authority to do that, but the boss at GE says, do what you got to do to fix stuff. And I told him, if I do too far, yank me back, but I'm going to just do stuff. And I called up this company and I said, I have a question for you. Why are you shipping on Friday morning for Friday morning delivery to Erie? It's 100 miles. And he says, well, our purchase order from GE says ship on Fridays for Friday morning delivery. I said, okay. Can you ship on Thursdays for Friday morning delivery? He said, oh yeah, I can ship on Mondays. They're on the shelf. Okay, so GE, your purchase order is wrong. Let's change this to ship on Thursday. And it goes from $500 to $28 at the time for PJAX was the delivering carrier. 7 a.m. next morning for $28. So going out of scope, so to speak, you reach further than you're supposed to reach, and you find a much better answer, because a lot of times the answer lies at the source. And if you don't ask that question of why are you doing this, you don't find out. And there's 100 examples of that over the years that makes the difference, but most people don't do it. Because 1, it's pain in their butts. 2, it takes more time. 3, it's not what they're told to do, so why do it? But to me, that makes a difference in things. And so that kind of, our slogan is passion for excellence. That passion of like, let's figure this out, let's find something better, That's kind of what has driven us, that's in our DNA. And if there's anything I bring to the table, it's that. I mean, I try to create an energy and let's take on this world and let's conquer things. And the people that buy into that, it's like, I know our HR lady the other day, someone says, what's it like working for Jim Berlin? He says, it's like working for Willy Wonka, which she thought was like an insult. I thought it was kind of a compliment. But you never know what you're going to get, but it's kind of let's have some fun doing some things here, That's kind of what we try to do.